One of the things many farmers tell me, Kumar, I want to become a millionaire through farming. So I said, so through farming, it means you have to be a farmer. For you to be a farmer, you have to be on the farm. You can't be sitting in Nairobi and give a call, whether he's your brother or whether he is somebody whom you trust and he is going to do the farming for you, the heavy lifting. Because tell me, who is best placed to look after your asset? Your farm is your asset. The things what you put there is an asset, whether it is 100,000 shillings or whether they are 100 million shillings. You are the best person. Are you expecting your employee to take care of your assets? It's not possible. Please don't live in that dream world. Now you have to understand what is a synthetic fertilizer. When you say urea 46, so 46% is urea. What is the balance 54%? Those are the heavy metal residues which will stay on your farm. Number two, the pesticides. When you spray pesticides, those residues also stay in the soil. When you spray fungicides, those fungicides also, those things, they stay in the soil. When they stay in the soil, they alter the pH, kills the microorganisms. Then you resort to something like liming because it's acidic and gypsum and so on and so forth. You can drink. There's no problem because what we have put inside, I know what is inside there. So it's very, very safe for human beings. Definitely it is going to be safe for my soil as well. We make something called soil conditioner on the farmer's farm. So what happens is we give a concentrated soil conditioner where the farmer makes it on the farm. So as you can see, this is a 210 liter drum. So when you're mixing it, you mix 8 liters of soil conditioner and you add water and you let it ferment. In 7 days the soil conditioner is ready. Can you just show how we karoga? So you just karoga 1 minute in the morning and 1 minute in the evening, and between 5 to 7 days it is ready. You can remove it. Now if you look at it, this is already ready. Yeah, if you look at it, just show the bubbles here.
Yeah.
So if you look at it, see.
Nice. And
Yeah.
the smell as well.
Yes. So many people tell me it smells like moratim. Today you are malnourished and you are having a heavy or a severe infection. The way you shall be treated will be different. But if there is a normal human being and both of you want to become a marathon runner here, so both of you cannot start running 10, 20 kilometers every day. You are malnourished and you're sick. So first you need to be taken care of and slowly you start. But the person who is healthy and new, you will give him the right nutrition and he'll start immediately. So these are a number of different ways where each farm will work on. These pins are treated, it is treated as if, it is a place Kutu Pagasia. But what if I tell you that this is your gold mine? If you look at the pits, this is how normally pits are done, and the waste is cut and they are put it. If you look at it, they have not cut it fully. Some of them are very big.
Yeah.
Now the composting time for this, even right now this is 3 months old and it is not composted. So generally it takes 6 months, 7 months, 8 months. But we shall show a way where this can be composted in this pit in 2 months, and if it is outside the pit, it can be composted within 1 month.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Organic Guy podcast. This is your home of organic conversations. I'm your host, the Organic Guy, and right around here we have conversation on how we can make our food system really work for us rather than against us. Today's guest is a very familiar face. You've seen him before. You wanted him back. You had a lot of questions that you needed to be answered. And this podcast is dedicated exactly to that. So we want to go back to the first podcast and see what are some of the major questions that you had about it. And in the next few minutes, that's exactly what we are going to do. He goes by the name of Kumar. Welcome to the podcast.
Thank you, Brian. It's great to come back here after the initial one. I got phone calls from many countries, many farmers, a lot of interactions and a lot of positivities around it. So I really thank you very much for giving me this opportunity. It has put a new energy into me.
I mean, the response was absolutely amazing. And it's interesting that you say you got like a lot of feedback from the country, outside the country. So it just goes to show the kind of knowledge that you have. It just transcends boundaries, which is good to see. So I want us to go back to the first podcast. And one of the quotes, I guess, that resonated a lot was that if you get a farmer, a full-time farmer, they give you 2 years, they give you 2 acres, and they give you a source of water. Then you'll make them millionaires. Explain that statement.
So what we are saying is, you see, there are some prerequisites for you to get something, right? So the first thing is you're supposed to be there. You can't be sitting in Nairobi and give a call, whether he's your brother or whether he is somebody whom you trust and he is going to do the farming for you, the heavy lifting. Because when you go on the farm, you'll see there are many challenges every day you will have to go through. So tell me, who is best placed to look after your asset? Your farm is your asset. The things what you put there is an asset, whether it is 100,000 shillings or whether they are 100 million shillings. You are the best person. Are you expecting your employee to take care of your assets? It's not possible. Please don't live in that dream world. I come from corporate world. Recently, I listed a company on the stock exchange here in Nairobi, 24th of July. You can, okay? So what I'm trying to tell you is, the same principles apply. So the first thing is you're supposed to be there. I gave an example of 2 acres because when I did the math and try to see what is really reasonable for a small scale farmer to get into farming. So it can be 1.5 acres as well. It's not that 2 acres. So something nearby. Definitely, I would not suggest somebody to do nature-based organic farming without pesticides and chemicals with a very small area because the resources what you're going to put in are a little bit higher. So whether you manage a 1/4 acre or whether you manage 1 acre, your cost of you is the same. And when you want to get into the market, because when you're a small scale farmer, the strategy is to sell it to small retailers. You can't be a small scale farmer doing chilies for exports. You can't do that because you don't have the global gap, you don't have the certifications, and you're going to sell it to middleman, and you know the story what happens. I'm not against the middleman, but a small scale farmer will not be able to overcome those problems or issues what he has. So that's the reason why I said 2 acres. The second thing what we mentioned is he should also have an animal on the farm. You see, every farmer uses manure. How that manure is done, we discussed about it. So if you have control over the animal, when I say control, when you know what you're feeding that animal, you also know what kind of manure you're going to get. So that was the reason for that. And when you have 2 acres, having 1 cow is very easy because every now and then you have got residues from the crop. It's the way it is supposed to be produced, naturally, organically, God's way, whatever you want to call it, right? There is a reason why what maize you eat, in 1 cob you get say 50 grams of maize what you eat. But what you're discarding is 500 grams or 1 kg or 2 kgs. Why is it like that? The reason why it is like that is because something needs to go back to the soil and something needs to go back to the animals which are there. So this is the reason why I mentioned about some prerequisites. For example, you are doing so much, maybe you have left your job in Nairobi and you have taken 2 acres and you don't have a regular source of water. Can you really do rain-fed agriculture with? Then you'll start blaming climate change. You'll start blaming your neighbor that he drew more water than you. That's not the way it works. So you need some water, And also, there is a lot of studies and science that if you do the natural way of farming, the amount of water you require is very less. That's why we are working on some models for which we shall talk about it later. Another thing what I mentioned about the farmer is the market. So which means before he starts farming, he should know his market. He should know where he is going to take his produce. How is he going to take his produce?
Yeah, what about the time frame? You said 2 years. Why 2 years?
So say you come to me today and say, Kumar, here are my 2 acres. This is what I have. Let's start. So the first 1 month, 2 months will go into preparation. If you're doing something new, you're not going to grow everything in your 2 acre farm at the first go. So what does a commercial farmer do? Assuming you have got 100 acres, he makes them into blocks. Those blocks have certain acres or hectares in it, right? And then he plans each block accordingly. In case of a small scale farmer also, this is what I tell them because it's just one time planning. See, whether you have 1 acre or 100 acres, what is wrong in calling a small 5 feet by 10 feet, say this is your block A, B, C, D, let it be up to Z. Why is it important is because you want to know what you are getting from each block, what is going inside that block and what is coming outside that block. So that's the reason why that planning is important.
So it has to be a good enough time frame for the farmer to first understand the principles of what is supposed to be done to the farm before they actually engage in the farming itself.
You see, Brian, there are multiple variables. See, today, if I tell you, okay, I use the word, I'll make you a millionaire in 2 years in 2 acres. It's possible even with 1 acre in 1 year. I'm not saying it's not possible, but I'm not guaranteeing that I'm using the word guarantee if you are there. And the moment you sit and you work out on the blocks, and most of the farmers who are doing it, many people who called me, they said, Kumar, it is possible even before 2 years. I said, yes, it is possible. But this is for some people who don't know about it. See, today, maybe you have planted tomatoes in a small area and there is a glut in the market because you did not know the season when a lot of tomatoes get into the market. I think that's the season right now we are in where tomatoes are coming in a lot and a lot of people are complaining about it. How do you tackle this? That's the reason why there is enough time frames so that you understand what you are growing, you understand where you are selling, and you understand the market. You see, what we're bringing is diversity. See, one of the key principles in organic farming, because you see, when you talk organic, people have this notion in their mind that it is expensive and their yields will go down. It's not like that. If you do it in a proper way, the only way you'll make more money is when you become organic, natural, free of chemicals and pesticides. So there are two ways to look at it. As somebody who is an existing farmer, how does he transition? And somebody who is starting new. There are two different views about it. Today, you are malnourished and you are having a heavy or a severe infection. The way you shall be treated will be different. But if there is a normal human being and both of you want to become a marathon runner here, so both of you cannot start running 10, 20 kilometers every day. You are malnourished and you're sick. So first you need to be taken care of and slowly you start. But the person who is healthy and new, you will give him the right nutrition and he'll start immediately. So these are a number of different ways where each farm will work on. And fortunately, AI is not going to take over your farming because it will take a lot of time. You see, when you're growing different things in a farm and we have a population of 55 million or approaching 60 million, I'm not saying a small scale farmer needs to grow exotic stuff and for export. You grow something simple which you're growing to sell to your neighbors, friends, and they will appreciate because the moment they try what you have grown with immense love for your soil, without any poisonous pesticides and fungicides, and chemicals, you will see it in the produce what comes out of it. The shelf life is so high you'll be shocked.
Interesting, you just mentioned the difference between those two. So there's a farmer, a new farmer who has maybe a land they just bought and they want to get into farming. And we have another farmer who is already in farming, but they are struggling, right? So from your perspective, what is the difference and how would you approach them?
Most of the people I talked, as I mentioned to you, I talked to more than 300 people. There are two types of people. First, we will discuss between two different people. So there's one farmer who wants to check whether what Kumar knows, what is he bringing. So he is always, first of all, he has a doubt in his mind whether it is going to work or not. So that farmer you have to address in a different way. When you have a doubt about something, it's very difficult to get further. So the first thing I explain to them what I'm bringing on board and I work with the mindset of that farmer. Second thing is the farmer is saying, Kumar, I'm ready to do this experiment. I don't want him to blindly trust me. He has 2 acres, he gives me 1/8. No problem. See, that is the beauty of trying, isn't it? You know, you take a very small piece of land. Okay, what are you saying, Kumar? You can do this for me? Okay, fine. Use this, blah, blah, blah. Give him the things. He, in a few months or in a few weeks, he will see it is growing better or is not growing better and what needs to be done. That is the first thing. Now I come back to the two farmers we mentioned. One is a farmer who has been farming. So say for example, he's an horticulture farmer. Most of the small scale farmers are into horticulture. Now when he was farming that, he was sold a lot of fear, assuming he's doing tomatoes. So you'll get this baridi, blight, and so on and so forth. Watermelons is also some people. So most of the people in farming who are burnt, they are burnt because of farming tomatoes. You know, and many people, when they went down by doing tomatoes, they never could get up because they broke them. You know, tomato is the last thing you will try on farming. It's not easy to grow tomatoes. So now that guy has depleted that soil over a period of time. He's been putting some manure and he has been putting some chemicals. So there are residues. Now you have to understand what is a synthetic fertilizer. When you say urea 46, so 46% is urea. What is the balance 54%? Those are the heavy metal residues which will stay on your farm for 500 years or whatever years I don't remember the years they say about it, right? So now those residues will stay in your soil. You keep on adding it every year, number one. Number two, the pesticides. When you spray pesticides, those residues also stay in the soil. When you spray fungicides, those fungicides also, those things, they stay in the soil. When they stay in the soil, they alter the pH, it generates a bit of heat. So in nutshell, it kills the microorganisms, or the environment is not stable for the microorganisms. So then you resort to something like liming because it's acidic, and gypsum, and so on and so forth. So this is the first kind of farmer. So you have to know what is that soil right now. So now when you talk of soil, you need to look at soil in at least three different ways, if not more. The first is the physical aspect of the soil. Second is the chemical analysis of the soil. Third one is the biological analysis of the soil. So how many of us, how many of the small scale farmers are really able to do it? While we are here, the world is racing much ahead in this area. I mean, there are mobile sensors for sensing soil, and where the cost of testing has gone down. There are a number of parameters here, so we are not going into that. So these are the areas which that small scale farmer has. Now let's go to the farmer who is starting their farming recently, right? The new farmer. So there are two things here. The farmer is, either the farmer is new or the land is new, or both are new. So first I need to look at that. So what has happened to that soil or that land in the last few years? Assuming it has been a grazing land, wonderful, we call it a virgin land. That's the term what everybody uses it. But we still need to know what is high in that soil and what is lower in that soil. And then you have an agronomist or some people who will tell you that this is a kind of soil, this is how it will retain water, and this is what you should grow here, then this is what you should not grow. So based on that, you'll have a plan of what you want to grow there or what you can grow. Then you have to align that plan with the market what you have. So say I am your agronomist and I tell you grow tomatoes because that's what you can grow. So are you going to trust me blindly because I'm your doctor? You can't, because the marketing, the agronomist is not going to come there and sell for you. The company from whom you are buying those chemicals and those whatever you're buying, they're not going to come and sell. They're going to sell you stuff. Whether you make a loss or profit, you have already paid them. You might get some little bit credit from your agrovet, but you see, he's your friend. You need to pay him. So this is the basic cycle within which the small scale farmer is there. So the way you address both of them is a little bit different. So what is different is just the food. The way I used to mention it to you, that the way the githeri is going to be made for the farmer which is malnourished, and the new farmer will just tweak it a bit here and there depending on the soil analysis. That's what it is. So first, once you have taken care of the soil, he knows what he is going to plant. You get your seeds, you give him resources where to get the quality seedlings, because you know we have got one more problem of duplicate or seeds which don't grow and so on and so forth. But there are many aspects to that. Even some certified seeds, sometimes they don't grow, I have seen. So how does a farmer do this? So there are that's the reason why I said, telephone farmer will not work. You will make a phone call and you will pay for the seeds will go to the farm and they have not germinated. Assuming you're doing onion seeds, 50,000 shillings a kilo or 45,000 gone, because the germination is say 50%, you're losing money. So there are multiple ways to look at it, Brian. So that's how I would put those two farmers, and that's how I will address these two farmers. In fact, I'm getting this type of farmers not only in Kenya, Uganda, Zambia, Zimbabwe, France, Ghana, South America, India. Everybody is calling, and this is how you first have to differentiate between the two farmers, and then you go into the other aspects of it.
It's interesting. I mean, the most common, I think, thread there is most of the farmers are struggling on how to maintain or at least give fertility to their soils. So let's talk a little bit about that, because I think I had a conversation with one of the farmers who was like, hey, I've been buying manure from Masai land. So what he does is he gets that manure from that part, from the Masai land, and then he uses in his farm. And from the first conversation, you mentioned that not all manure is the same. So what can such a farmer who gets like manure from different parts, it really doesn't have control on what is going to feed his cows and stuff. So what are the next best steps that they can take to actually improve their manure?
Let's understand what a farmer does. As you mentioned, one of the best manures for the farmers, as per the farmers, what is happening in the market is the manure which is coming from the Masai land who keep the cows. So which cows are these? As I mentioned to you, these are the indigenous cows which are made by God. They have not been crossbreeded into something else. They are grazing in the nature, and that manure is what is collected and it is kept in their boma, right? And the manure from the cow keeps on adding on that, and then they will shift and go to the next place. and that's where now the dung is collected. And this one is left there for 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, 1 year, 2 year, 3 year there in the sun. And they say that is how the manure is getting ready. Okay. The farmer transports it to his farm. So assuming a farmer is 150 kilometers away from this, or 100 kilometers away, the minimum he shall pay for transport is around 7,000 shillings. He will pay around 5,000 shillings for a truckload of that manure. So say he's paying 15,000 shillings for a 10-ton manure. Okay. This is how everybody does it. So everybody has their own recipe of putting the manure. So some people will, when they are planting, they'll mix the manure with soil and a few other things. They'll put some hay or grass which has been cut, or the weeds which has been cut without the seeds, and they'll put it inside when they're planting, assuming they're planting avocado trees or whatever. So everybody has their isabu, debe moja, debe bili. That's how it goes. There are a few questions here. When this manure is being done, is because you have seen your neighbor or you have seen your parents using manure. So it has come to us because you have been looking at it, everybody using it, right? So can you point to me one scientific reason where somebody has given with analysis why is he using this particular manure? For example, I have asked more than 3,000 farmers whether they have done a test report for their manure, and said, manure is organic. Why do you need to test? So we have assumed that it is organic. Yes, it is most of the time. But now you see, times are changing. You don't know what kind of diseases those cows in that Masai land they are getting, and what kind of injections they have been given. Because that is the first thing. But there are also some other places where the manure is being sold on the roadside near the farms, where it is coming from a cow which is for dairy. There might be some manure which is coming from from the slaughterhouse. Now you don't know what kind of disease that cow had or whatever is there. You just think it is organic. So there are a number of aspects of this manure. Now let me tell you my way of looking at it. I've been to Kajiado since our last podcast. I've been to Kajiado 10 times. I've got 4 farmers with whom I'm working there. One of the farmers, I told him just to put a small shade on his boma, and I said, let sunlight not hit that manure or that cow dung, because it is going to decompose slowly, if I can use that word. The reason why it is kept in the sun is because it is very hot. It is decomposing. If you put your hand inside the choma, that many times they say, manure is not ready, choma roots, they say that it has burnt my roots. Yeah. So now tell me something. When you see a heap of manure lying in a farm, if you put your hand, it is still hot, isn't it? It is the temperature of that manure is much higher than the outside temperature. Yeah. So now, if I tell you there is a different way to make this manure, I've done this manure on more than 100 farms. Okay. You take the fresh cow dung and you take the various waste what you can get on your farm. Chop it in as much small as possible. So as we say, the brown matter, carbon. So whatever you get, you mix it. What I generally tell the farmer is that keep the ratio in a same way. So what happens is when you're putting it on your beds, if you find a certain deficiency, the deficiency also will be constant. So assuming you're growing something and it needs calcium and there was no calcium there, so you know what to do to put calcium, just one example, or maybe you want to put some boron. Now those small things can be managed. So the way of making manure is something which is very, very important. I'm making manure. There's a farm, 35 acres, has got 110 cows, and I'm making 50 tons of manure there. A farmer, which I got from a podcast, from Embu, is buying 100,000 shilling worth of manure my way, because he does not have time. Because what I'm making is not manure, it is actually organic fertilizer. See, you have to understand what is organic fertilizer. You get the organic matter, you put microorganisms, you leave it for some time, and when you get, it's very light, and when it's done, they will pellet it. From India, there are many people who are getting a lot of organic fertilizer which is pelleted form. But the moisture is not there. Now imagine I'm making something which is better than that on your farm with whatever waste you have. That is now when you see the farm visits start. So in case of large scale farmers, it's affordable. But in case of small scale farmers, We have been talking, I meet them in Nairobi, I give them, this is how you do it, and we take it ahead from there. So this is how the basic difference in compost, manure is there. So that's why, I called it also your gold mine. Why this is a gold mine is only you will know if you try it. And to make this gold mine, you don't need a lot of money. You just need a temporary shade. If you can't do that, you can just take some cover and cover it under your tree, and it is there. Mix it with a few ingredients. In 30 days, it's ready. Put it on a small bed, plant something, and see the difference. Typically, when you see a farm and when they have pits, if you look at the pits, this is how normally uh, pits are done, and the waste is cut and they are put it. If you look at it, they have not cut it fully. Some of them are very big.
Yeah.
Now, the composting time for this, even right now, this is 3 months old and it is not composted. So, generally, it takes 6 months, 7 months, 8 months. But we shall show a way where this can be composted in this pit in 2 months, and if it is outside the pit, it can be composted within 1 month. The way these bins are treated, it is treated as if it is a place Kutu Pagasia. But what if I tell you that this is your gold mine? So this is what we are teaching the farmers and showing the farmers how to turn something which is your pit for Gasia into a gold mine.
Yeah. So you're saying instead of selling farmers, maybe you have this solution, or you can just package like a compost and then take it to the farmers. What you're saying is you're going to the farmers themselves and actually helping them make the compost themselves. So how do you go around that, making sure that farmers can do this themselves?
One of the key things, the heart of what we do is we make something called soil conditioner on the farmer's farm. So what happens is we give a concentrated soil conditioner where the farmer makes it on the farm. So as you can see, this is a 210 liter drum. So when you're mixing it, you mix 8 liters of soil conditioner with 1.5 to 2 kgs of sukari guru or sugarcane juice. We don't promote molasses. And you add water and you let it ferment. In 7 days, the soil conditioner is ready. The beauty is that when next time you're using, you don't have to use 8 liters, you only use 2 liters, and the sukari guru and the sugarcane juice remains the same, water remains the same. You koroga it depending on the season, between 5 and 7 days, it is ready. Can you just show how we koroga? So you just koroga 1 minute in the morning and 1 minute in the evening, and between 5 to 7 days, it is ready. You can remove it. Now, if you look at it, this is already ready. Yeah. If you look at it, just show the bubbles here.
Yeah.
So if you look at it, see.
Nice. And
Yeah.
the smell as well.
Yes. So many people tell me it smells like moratina, but also if you look at it, so it's a probiotic. I can drink. There's no problem because what we have put inside, I know what is inside there. So it's very, very safe for human beings. Definitely, it is going to be safe for my soil as well. Yeah. Once this is ready,
Yeah.
you have to mix with water, 50% water and 50% of the soil conditioner. So you further dilute it. And generally, we change it a bit depending on what they are growing. So it can become 70%, 30%. It can become 50-50, or it can become 30% and 70%. So yeah, put some water here. Because you see, this is...
So this is water already. So it's mixing its...
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So 1.5 is enough for now because you don't have... Oh yeah, back up to you. So you see now, this is something which is going to be sprayed. Look at the color even after. Now, you can see the activities. So you see, first is the economic sense. See, earlier I mentioned, when you are buying the manure from outside, what is the cost? You might be putting X amount. Whatever amount you're putting, when you have done that compost my way, you will put half of it or even 25% of it, and it will work much more than that. In a few places where we tested, it was 25 times better than the manure what we got from the Masai land. 25 times more. In some cases, we found it even 50 times more. What I'm saying is 25-50 times more is when you look at the macronutrients and the micronutrients, they're on a higher side. The organic matter is on a higher side, and many times even the soil organic carbon is also much on a higher side. It has also got a lot of life in it. And when that compost is done our way. In the starting, we all know when you put a heap, the temperature goes up for some time, then the temperature starts going down. Once that temperature has gone down, and when you put your hand inside it, you will feel you have put your hand in ice. So imagine this compost or this manure, whatever you want to call it, and you have got the manure from Kajiado or from the roadside place, wherever Masai land. You put your hand in this one and a choma. It is hot. And in this one is cold. Now, when this manure is going inside your soil, what is it doing? So you have to put a lot of water. It is also going to soak a lot of water, right? So it will also compete for water if you don't have enough water. So there are multiple aspects for that. So it's like when you eat homely food. You see, you just have that homely food, yeah, and you prepare yourself. Everything is good, and something is missing. Say, for example, you are an athlete and you're eating homely food, so you might be needing some extra protein. That's what is there in our mind, that we need more protein. So you'll eat some different protein extra, that's it. But your basic will remain the same. You don't change the whole diet.
I mean, we always talk about that transition, but a lot of these farmers know what they're doing is not right. Like, they know maybe spraying these chemicals is not the right thing to do for their soils. They know using synthetic fertilizers is not the right thing to do for their soils, but they're sort of stuck. Yes, they have this idea that they want to transition, but they're not quite sure yet. They have that doubt. You say people who call you and they're like, hey, are you sure of what you're talking about? What is that mind shift that needs to happen for this farmer?
As I mentioned to you, the first thing is the mind shift in the farmer's mind. First thing, he needs to understand the difference between the two and why it is wrong. It is like, now, for example, if you're eating every day nyamachoma outside, you're having pizza every day outside, is it good for your health? It is not. Every day you're eating outside on a kibanda or a kivanja, you are bound to get ulcers. You're bound to get problems of your stomach. That is what is happening to everybody. Now, instead of looking at where the problem is, what do? You go out and seek dawa to work on your ulcers, isn't it? But what you need is you need to marry, get a wife home who cooks for you. Yeah, that's the answer. That's the meaning of a family, because you have somebody at home cooking for you. You see what I mean by, I'm not saying that women are supposed to cook all the time. That's not what I mean. I'm saying traditionally that is what has happened, like with our parents and grandparents. And all this, what I'm telling you, it is all coming from the different ancient practices, what they have. And it is working. So, as you rightly mentioned, the mind shift will happen when he takes a leap of faith, isn't it? So, when I tell him, or when he sees somebody else and he sees the podcast and he says, Kumar, this is what I want to do. So, when I explain to him, he has to take that chance, because he's in business, isn't it? The most unpredictable business in the world is agriculture, but it is also the most rewarding. So it is up to you want to take that chance or not. You're not coming for a job that every month you're getting a salary. You are going to farm. So nothing is confirmed, but if you understand it, what is happening, it will definitely work. Because the USP what we have is we are able to work on the soil. So we have products for the soil. We have products for plant nutrition, or also we teach them how to make so many of those things on their farm. See, you find a lot of recipes on YouTube where people start making pesticides on their farm, but they don't work. Why? Because if that was the case, everybody would be a good farmer watching YouTube. I can give you endless places where whatever I'm telling you, it might be done in some different way or the other. But you see, pest control, fungal attacks, you have to go back to the immune system of that soil. So we're just making it simple and easy. If you start going behind the science and how it is and what it is, I'm not the person who will be able to explain everything in a way. You see, I say in a very simple way. I think I mentioned last time as well that when you are hungry and when you need food or when you're malnourished, does your mother check your blood pressure and give you food or things? No. You just go. There is everything there. You might feel like having milk, you'll have milk. You'll feel like having maziwa lala, you'll have maziwa lala. You feel like having whatever the food is there, made at home, nice with love. And the key thing is love and made at home. Those are the two main things, whatever is made. You have that food, you relax, next day you have the same energy. But now when it comes to soil, you want to start looking at the various parameters. This is less and that is less. And so we are focusing on lack. We are not focusing on abundance. Soil itself has got everything in it. We just have to manage it a bit. So I would say I'm not going as a doctor on the soil, but I'm going as a mother or a grandmother, trying to teach them how it needs to be done. So when we were growing up, you see the way you take care of kids, the way we were nourished. Were you nourished because you have got a lot of doctors in your house, or were you nourished because you had got a lot of mothers and aunts in your house? See, that's what I'm saying. I'm not against the doctor. When you are seriously ill, you need one. But you see, every day if you get a habit of consulting a doctor, you will be sick. And there is a second thing. You might have seen some people, like today he has got one doctor, then he will take another opinion from another doctor, then he will take tablets from another one, he will change this. I've got some relatives who every month they have a doctor which is changed. What is consistent is that person is with that illness and nothing has happened about the illness. Only thing has happened is that person has kept on changing the doctor. So this is the mindset which needs to change. And as I'm saying, it is working because it is very simple. If you are going to eat healthy, it's going to work on you.
Yeah, and in most instances, people actually neglect the simple things that needs to be done rather than they want sort of complex stuff that sound fancy, because now that might actually feed their ego and show people, hey, at least I'm doing something new or different. Let's talk about like large scale farmers, because I think there is a group of people also in large scale farmers. One is the group that sort of has the annual and the biannual sort of crops. They have like orchards, let's say apples, avocados, and they do this in large scale. And I think this is a group that is sort of reluctant to look the other way because they have a lot to lose, right? So converting like 20, 50, 100 hectares is a lot of risk for some of these farmers. What is then the best approach for them to actually take the risk without really knowing, you know what, I might actually lose or...
First of all, let's say there are multiple types of commercial and large-scale farmers. So one you mentioned about the orchards. Second can be horticultural exporters. Third can be horticultural local who are addressing the local market. Fourth one can be tea and coffee, plantations if you want to call them, right? Where they are cooperatives and there's different ways. The way I look at it is for that large-scale farmer to decide. And how is he deciding? You need to understand, because I've been to a few of them and then I said I don't have time to keep on going and explaining them. So the first thing, the large-scale farmers, they think that a person who is selling a product needs to come on their farm for free, come on their farm and show them everything for free. So tell me, what kind of business is this that me, whom I know how to do it, whether it's me or somebody else. So you want me to come on your farm for free, take appointments, meet your people, because large-scale farm, they have their way and they have their things. You might not be meeting this decision maker. So you show them your products. By the way, my products are certified on KFIS, Kilimo High, second year. Even in KFIS, they are on second year. So they are there. And I'm not advertising about it. And right now, I don't even have a single large-scale farmer on board. I had one and I've stopped it because it does not make sense for me. I'll tell you that. So first of all is the mindset of that large-scale farmer. So he expects a person who is giving him the solution to come on his farm for free 5-6 times, and he gives. Do you expect him to sell you cheap? No. Now I'm telling you why I'm doing this. So me, if I go to large-scale farmers and I don't get that order, those overheads, where will I add? I will add it to my existing small-scale farmers. If I'm not able to add it to them, I'll be in the losses. I'll close down. If I add it, those small-scale farmers will not be able to afford. So that's the reason why I have changed. So what do? Is I charge a small fee to go on somebody's farm so that the prices of my products, they stay reasonable for somebody to do a trial. So that's the first thing. So second thing, assuming he has agreed and you go there, whether you have got 50 acres or 500 acres, you're not going to give me a 5-acre farm to do it. You'll say, okay, Kumar, let's try on this one greenhouse or one side of a greenhouse. Generally they give you in, if they're exporters, they'll say, okay, fine, let's do on 10 meters square or something, one bed or something like that. So that's where it starts. And depending on what they want to achieve, because the number of parameters with them is different. So now let's talk specifically about the orchard farmers. So let's say we take mango, avocados, apples, citrus, okay? So each of them, there are different problems they face. I'll just go through it because if you go deeper, it will go in a different way. In case of mangoes, how much care are they taking about the mangoes is what you need to look at. Why I'm saying that is because they directly proportionate it to the what price they're getting. Maybe they're getting 20 shillings in exports, 20 shillings and a mango. In India, 1 kg of mangoes are sold for 500 shillings to 1,000 shillings a kilo during the season. Here 1 kg, I'm talking in shillings. So let's say 500 to 700. Let's not go 500 to 700. If it is 500 shillings a kilo, it is 3 or 4 apple mangoes. And what you're getting 80 shillings, there the farmer is getting 500 shillings. The way the care is taken care of it is at a very different level. So it all is determined by the markets. That's what I'm trying to say. And because the soil is not taken care of, again, there are issues with the plant nutrition and with the plant health. Same is happening with avocados, we have seen, because a lot of countries have been rejecting because of issues on the fruit in avocados. Even when we are I think, the top 5 producers of avocados in the world. Yeah. So now next comes to apple. So, when people are planting apples, what I've seen, the reason I'm sharing this is because I've interacted with some farmers, and one of the farmers was planting a specific variety of apples, and I stopped him because I asked him a simple question. You're going to plant these apples, take care of it for 2 years, where is the market? Do you have a market? Do you know the price? He says, Kumar, I don't know. So why don't you find out? So, because just you have resources and you're planting apples, what is there to go and ask somebody who's growing apple and have a look at what is he doing with it? Okay, so somebody if he's trying to do today, I'll say don't go into apples or avocados, do passion fruit because the demand is immense. Just an example. Yeah, so the way you take care of orchids also, you see, when it comes to their spraying programs, when it comes to taking care of their soil, the same thing, the way you do the manure, because we have done it on avocados, mangoes, and passion fruit, apples as well, where it has shown a lot of difference in it. So I don't know how to approach them or how to go about it. It's all, as every farmer is in a different mindset.
So it depends on the mindset of the specific farmer you're dealing with. What about the horticultural farmers? So, and I'm guessing there's a difference here between, let's say there's a farmer who is purely on the greenhouse. So these are most likely like exports. So they have herbs, or they have tomatoes they're growing. So I'm guessing there's a difference on approach on how you can approach these two farmers, the greenhouse farmer and the one who grows like plants outdoors or in the open. Is there a difference, and how would you approach those two farmers?
On the soil health, one of the things I've been talking about is manure. Okay. The manure, what I have been telling you or what we know, is in a solid form, correct? You might do a better one, much better one, worse, whatever it is. And that is the manure we have in mind. Now, when it comes to large scale farmers, many times, and it is true as well, that you get a lot of weeds, the seeds for the weeds from that solid manure, because you see the cow which is kept on grazing, it grazes everything, it grazes a lot or whatever it is. Yeah, I don't know much about it. But this is what you have seen in the manure. So that is one of the things which keeps them away from that manure. And this is also one of the reasons why manure is kept in the sun for a very long period of time, so that the seeds for the weeds, they are neutralized or whatever. But still it does not happen many times. So that is number one. Number two, when you talk of large scale farmers, they have automated systems. They have certain certification criteria. So say for example, there is Global Gap, Fair Trade. Recently we had this Rainforest Alliance or something for the coffee, which went back, or we said no to it. So there are certain standards what they maintain, and they have got experts from there who tell them what to use and what not to use. So I'm not addressing those people. Okay, let them stay on the side, because I don't have understanding of what they have written in there. Now you have got certain large scale farmers who are not in the export market, but they are in the local market. Because when they are in the direct export, they will need global gap and certain things. Now, say how you irrigate. So you have your irrigation system. Then you have the irrigation system can be drips. It can be the pivots, the big ones for large scale farming, assuming it's a wheat farm. So, the wheat farmer has in his mind that he cannot ever take care of the soil the way a small scale farmer looks at it. But there is a way. So one of the things what I think we are the first people who are doing liquefied fermented manure. It's called LFM. If you Google, you'll find LFM. So what is LFM basically? So if we can even put those tanks on the farm, because you see, the way we are trying to do is to reduce the cost of that farmer. See, today, if you have to spend a lot to get nutritious food, you will not be able to spend every day. But if you're making nutritious food at your home, every day you will get it. And we don't value it, is a different thing. What is cooked at our house, we don't value it. Yeah, you will never give 1,000 shillings for a plate of githeri and uji, right? But you'll give 2,000 for the pizza you'll have outside with a Coke. So similarly, now what happens is, again we come back. So why liquefied fermented manure is the future, or it's something which needs to be embraced in a very big way, is you don't have any issues of bad pathogens which have not been neutralized when the compost has been done. You don't have issue of how you're going to spread it, because there is a cost. If I tell you that the manure is there, you make it, and you want to spread the manure on 1,000 acres, you'll say, Kumar, the cost of spreading that manure for me is much higher, correct? That's why you will not spread it. So imagine if I make for you a liquefied manure on your farm, and you just insert it, or you just pour it into your tank, which is irrigating your farm. So there is no extra cost of irrigating it. And liquefied fermented manure is readily available carbon. It's something which humic acid and other things are part of it. So what happens is, the moment it goes into the soil, it is able to, the plant is immediately able to uptake many things. So there is readily available food in it, and there is also microbes in it. So it's both the things. So these are some of the different ways where you will address. You see, let's look at what problems commercial farmers have. The first thing is the productivity is going down. Second thing is, in case of exporters, because there is somebody who is checking on them, there is an issue of MRLs, material residues, which are there because of heavy usage of different pesticides and chemicals over the period of time. I have seen large scale farmers digging 8 feet inside their land, removing that soil and putting different soil in that, because there is no other way. But you see, they are doing the same thing. Why? Because they have a program. So remove the soil, put another soil, and continue with the same pesticides or some different pesticides or some different fungicides. Because when I've seen people spraying fungicides on their herbs, on their chilies, and there is no answer, it is not working on it, but they keep on spraying twice a week because there is no other way. But we have a solution for that, you see. But the solution is, if today you call me and you say, Kumar, I've got issues on my chilies, you solve my problem, I'm not interested. I can't do it. Why? Because you will get the benefit only if you do the whole thing. So you want to give me an order for your 100 acres, I'm not interested. Give me half your acre, let me show you, then you implement it in whatever you want it. Because there is no other way. I know. Maybe there are other people who know. They know that. This is how, I work on it. So there are multiple ways to look at people who are in the large scale farming. The key thing is always, according to me, Brian, that there are many people involved there. So how do you bring all those people on a single alignment? So generally it's the owner of the company who can address that.
Yeah, and it's good to hear that there are options for farmers, not just that, because the vision here for large scale farmers is, you have like huge tractors that have manure, and then you just have to go to the field and spray them. But there's an option actually to have them as liquid, and then that one, it's easier to move them over large pieces of land. So that's reassuring. A lot of people nowadays in the agricultural world talk about the next big thing, and there's a lot of concentration on tech, especially on using drones, like AI. This out of talk of, hey, I can just feed robots and they can go weed all my farm. But since you are so invested in the living side of things, in the microorganism, what is one technology that you see that is in that area that can be able to benefit farmers?
When you talk of technology, anything which you have some data, some scientific background, we call it technology, correct? So whatever I am doing, is it not technology? It is ancient technology, correct? So I understand you are talking in terms of how the different systems what we are getting, it can automate a farm and help them in their productivity. I'll give you a few examples. You talked of drones. How many people have you seen flying drones here in the farms? I've not seen any in the last 2 months. I've seen. The situation is different in India. In India, the show down there is flying drones. See, flying drones is the reason. Why is it the first thing? You can spray it efficiently and fast. That is the first work what a drone does. Now, say you have got a drone which is capable of also imaging, sensors and other things. So what it will do is, it will go and nearby, it will take some pictures. Okay, that is the second thing. What is the third thing? If it is integrated with some program, you call it AI, it keeps on improvising. That's what is generative AI, right? It keeps on improvising on your farm through that tech, because the more data you give, it will start working. So what happens is, you have a drone which has got the pesticide in it, and when it goes to spray, it is precision farming. That's the concept also. We talk of precision farming. So it goes and sprays only the area where it is required. That's what it does. According to me, it is something which we should get into it. So now, how many small scale farmers can get into it? Very rare, isn't it? But tell me, if you are somebody who is in a tech space and you know a little bit of farming, you go into a farming areas, do it, and you start charging a rent. But here what happens is, when you look at renting, we make it so expensive that people just want to go and spray on their own. So that rental the cost should be less than what the farmer is incurring when he does it manually. If you talk of sensors, right? Now, there are moisture sensors, pH sensors, and then you can keep on adding the criteria what you want to check in the soil. So those sensors are there. It can be fed into a program, and you can get your data real time. According to me, it is a good thing. But first thing is, at least you start getting more output from your farm. So it's a very difficult question for the farmer, what to embrace first. But let me ask you a question. Out of all these things, what you're doing, what is the first thing to do? Take care of the soil. So don't go to standard 1 before we have finished the nursery. So let's first take care of that soil. You start with that. And then once you are there, and that's why I mentioned telephone farming, you'll sit in Nairobi and say, you have seen this video about a drone, you want a drone. You have seen this thing about a sensor, you want that sensor. No, you will need it, but go on your farm. You will know there are other things which you need to do first.
Yeah, and I think most of the time, the mindset of the conventional system is efficiency, but the fundamentals have not been taken care of. And in this case, the soil is the fundamental. The soil affects the quality of the crops we'll get, affects like how the crop will be able to protect itself against pests and diseases and stuff. So I think if we get the base, like the soil right, then a lot of these things becomes a little bit easier. If someone comes to you, a farmer, and is like, hey Kumar, I need your help, what are the top 3 questions that you ask this farmer in order to understand them, actually understand their needs? Because there are farmers who might come to you and say, maybe my need is production, right? Maybe my need is the market. Maybe my need is I need how to control pests and diseases. Is there top questions that you need to ask in order to understand what actually this farmer needs, not necessarily what they may want?
I've not made a questionnaire. As I mentioned to you, I have met many farmers since we did the last podcast. The way I start is we talk on the phone, and depending on how the farmer responds and where he is staying, I said, okay, fine, let's meet. So the first thing is to know the background about the farmer. Is he a farmer? Many times the people who have come to meet me, they are farmers. That is number one. Number two, I ask him what is the size of the farm, where it is. The same things what you've discussed. So he mentioned about it. Third thing, I ask him about the water. And the fourth thing, I ask him, what are you looking at? What do you want? What's your objective? So the guy says, you know what, the caption last time he makes farmers millionaires. So one of the things many farmers tell me, Kumar, I want to become a millionaire through farming. So I said, you said it right. You want to become a millionaire through farming. So through farming, it means you have to be a farmer. For you to be a farmer, you have to be on the farm. Okay, you can, because it's very difficult to stay full time. Okay, at least 3 days in a week, 2 days in a week, you should be there. So those are the questions we work on. Then the next thing I ask them is what kind of animals you have on the farm. If it's not there, then if he's able to get an indigenous cow in the nearby area. And then you see, it depends on the farmer's capacity and risk taking. Like there's some farmers, when we talked of, he says, Kumar, you talked of indigenous cow. They send me pictures, Kumar, can I buy this cow? I said, I'm not an expert on that. Just get any cow which is indigenous. You talk to those people who are there, get a calf and let it be there on the farm and build a small shed and let's work on it. So this is how the general questions we ask. And the last thing I ask them is about the market. So what do you intend to sell and where do you intend to sell it? There are people who have their markets and there are some people who don't have. So I say, okay, fine, you don't have markets. It's very simple. Where your farm is, on all the directions, you have a phone in your hand. You know what are the different markets near your area. Go there and have a discussion with some retailers. Go and check the prices there. Start selling something. I can guarantee you that even when there is a glut in the market, that retailer will still buy your produce because you have developed a relationship. I mean, if you want to transport your stuff, say 20 kilometers from your farm, it's not that difficult. I'll give one example which I think will help the farmers. A farmer is in an interior area where the roads are not there. Basically, the roads are full of rocks. During the rainy season, it messes up. So his small truck is on the rocks because it has been messed up for going and coming out of the farm. His smaller vehicle, a DX, which he has taken from his mom, he is using it to transport it. And when I was on the farm, I said, why are you doing this? So he explained to me, this is blah, 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 the road has not been done by the government. And so I said, why don't you focus on what you can do? You can sit here and talk about any government and you can talk about so many negative aspects of it. So it's whatever you focus on is going to increase, isn't it? So I gave him a suggestion. I said, you've got so much of food here, for the animals. Have you thought of just getting 2 donkeys? Have a small donkey cart, transport it from this place to outside, park your vehicle outside. Will it make any sense? Yeah. The guy is saying, Kumar, how do you think this? I said, this is, because I'm focusing on solving. You are the person who has been farming. You have got cows, you have got sheep, you have got ducks. You have got a biodigester, he's a full prawn. He has got tilapia and he has got azola. He's doing everything but I said, are you making money? So whatever money is supposed to make is going in the vehicle because this is the problem he had. So eventually he built 3 of them. So that's how you look at problems, you look at solutions because it is there. Now you have a land, you have grown everything. And the road is not there, what are you going to do? If you're going to go before, you would say, okay, fine, let me not do my farming here. Let me wait for the road or let me buy some other land. But you're already there and you already have your investments. What do you do? So this is how you look at it.
Yeah, and I think sometimes all we just need is like a different eye, like someone to see the problems that we have from a different perspective. Yeah. Then it might also click. So I saw in the comments, some people are calling you like the farming guru, like Kumar the farming guru, Kumar the agricultural expert, Kumar the agronomist. How would you describe yourself?
Me, I'm just somebody who is trying. I'm also learning and I would like to see how I can add value in whatever I do. Right now, I have decided the only thing I want to do is farming. I've learned all these things in Kenya, so Kenya should be my first place. As I told you, I mean, there's somebody who's calling me to Ghana. Says, Kumar, I'm buying a farm. Why don't you go and have a look at the land I'm buying? I said, look, we'll look at it. But what I'm saying is, I'm just putting the facts in front of you. It is for the people to understand, and there are many people who have seen the difference within a very small period of time. Every place I go, every farm I go, I tell them to plant trees on the empty areas. Recently, I was seeing somebody on a podcast. I don't know, somebody from India who promotes planting a tree. So he was with a mobile sensor of heat. So when he was outside in the sun, it was reading 45.6 degrees. Under the shade of the tree, it was 9 degrees less. So these are the things which really resonate with me, and this is what I feel that I want to do.
Yeah. Okay. Nice. So also we have like young people. So we also had like a lot of comments. Yes, it's fair you say that I must have at least 2 hectares, or I must have a source of water. I must have all these variables. But as a young person, they necessarily don't have those things at them, but they are still interested in farming. They want to start farming. What advice could you give to the young people who are, especially interested in farming, but might not have all those prerequisites going for them?
You see, first of all, the young person, whether he's in Nairobi or whether he's in Shago or whether he's somewhere, whether he's employed or he's not employed. Now, you want to do farming, but you also have your family to feed. So you can't leave your job and get into farming, even though you want to do farming. So that is one place you can't do anything about it. You just have to wait and see. Now, somebody who is sitting with capital and says that I want to start farming, because you can also lease some land on farming. I had a farmer who was leasing some land in Narok, and he says, Kumar, I've got 150,000 shillings and I want to do farming in Narok. We met and I told him, don't do it. It's better you get onto a farm and you understand, because now you're going to go to Narok. You also want to, and he wants it to do onion farming. So onion farming is 6 months, 1 month in the nursery. I said, where is your plan? How are you going to take care of your family for 6 months? He is not employed. So he said, no, now I need to. So I said, okay, fine. You see, so don't do this. Let's find something near for you and just grow maybe greens. At least it is going to give you income. You will learn farming, and then once you get ready, you can venture into becoming an onion farmer. Or if you have 1 acre or 2 acres, what you're doing, do a quarter acre of onion, and other things can keep on giving you money. Because he said, what is the cost of you going to Narok and coming back? Where are you going to stay? What are you going to eat? He had not planned for that. Now, if he has started, he has already paid for the seeds or the seedlings. He gets there, and halfway down, he does not have resources to add, say they're at the bulbing stage and he needs to put some fertilizer in it. Now he does not have the money, so what he has lost his money as well, he has lost his hope, and he can see those onions are dying there. So I said, why do you want to get into that? So don't get into any business you're getting into if you don't have your cash flows in front of you, isn't it? There are multiple ways you can make money in Nairobi for entrepreneurs. Sky is the limit.
If you had to sum up your principles, like what you're trying to let people to understand, because most people are going to grasp to the idea of, I want to be a millionaire farmer, right? That's the reality. But if you're going to sum it up, like for a farmer, for someone who's watching, or maybe they're interested into farming, how would you sum your principles, like in a sentence or two?
When you say you want to become a millionaire in farming, I will say don't get carried away by that opening statement. The first thing is, you have to be a farmer. Second thing is, take care of that farm and the farm will take care of you. Take care of that soil and that soil will take care of you. And if anybody, I've been talking to people, I don't charge them or anything when I've had conversations with people for 3 hours, 4 hours, multiple times. I only charge them when I'm going to their farm, so that, and many people are saying, okay, fine, Kumar, here's the money. I said, no, first let's meet, understand what you're getting into. Some people have said, no, let me wait and let me go later on. So my thing is, anything you're going to do, go with that full confidence and courage. It starts with you. The $1 million or the $1 billion mindset, it starts with you, and it is there. You've got a 55 million populated country which needs to be fed. The kind of herbs we export from Kenya to the Europe is at a level you cannot imagine. The avocados are being exported, cut flowers are being exported, vegetables is being exported. There's so much which can be done. So instead of looking at it that this is a big company or this farmer has made a lot of money when you see him driving a twin cab or a Prado or something, have your vision, have your dreams and work for it. Count your blessings. See, are you telling me that when you see somebody with a car and you don't have that, or it's just an example, and you're not blessed? See, you have your hands, you have your legs, you have a family, you have got food on table. There's so many people who don't have it.
I think as we finish here, I mean, it's been really, really great having you on the podcast again. What would be your parting shot like for farmers, for anybody interested in the kind of work you're doing?
My parting shot would be, if you want to get into farming, you can get into it. If you want to get into business, you can get into it. If you don't want to get into anything, you will still not get into anything. So it all starts from you. Make up your mind, because most of the viewers are from Kenya. Kenya is blessed. Our soils are much better than what other countries have. The potential is there. It just needs somebody to unlock it, right? Is that somebody you?
Yeah, and then it's really interesting, the kind of diverse kind of people that have really gravitated to your work. Of course, there are some people who might be interested to like getting to know you or getting in touch. How would they do that?
Yeah, most of the people, I've been giving them a number where they can reach me on WhatsApp. They just message and then we decide a time and we talk. So my WhatsApp number is 0721 314 051. I would give them my Gmail. It's called Kumar Sheth 2017 at gmail.com. So it's Kumar is Kumar, Sheth is Sheth 2017 at gmail.com.
Yeah, and I think that's clear. And also, must say you're active on LinkedIn as well. So you share a lot of knowledge there. So if anybody is like on LinkedIn and like to follow you as well, that's a good platform.
On LinkedIn, I think it's called Kumar Sheth. You'll find me there.
Yeah, interesting. So I think at least in this podcast, we tried and answered most of your questions. Of course, I'm sure we didn't go like through every single question, but this was more of like an emergency podcast, because the initial thought was like, we need to go to the farm for us to have that conversation, but it didn't happen this time. But I think the next conversation should be, we'll have it on the farm. So I hope this conversation was insightful. You gained a lot of knowledge from it. And yeah, till the next podcast, remember to be organic. Cheers.